ice cream, alcohol, and franchising. And coming up next, we're going to talk to Melissa Tavss, founder of Tipsy Scoop. We're going to discuss their story, we're going to discuss franchising, and their amazing family tradition. Just as background for everyone that's going to be listening, Tipsy Scoop's sort of a phenomenon in the New York City area. You've recently started franchising, but there's just so many stories here, amazing stories. If you could just a little background, Melissa, where you're at right now in this journey.
Yeah, so at Tipsy Scoop, we make liquor infused ice cream. It's up to 5% alcohol by volume. We have our three company owned stores here in New York City and Long Island. And the real reason we decided to franchise, not only was there the demand for it, we had all of our customers asking if we were a franchise, but we also just wanted to continue to be that first mover in the boozy ice cream category, so that every town has a Tipsy Scoop boozy ice cream shop in it.
And what's so powerful for anyone listening, and when you go check out Tipsy Scoop, is the new generation of franchisors. They're brand builders. They're powered by a strong brand, strong unit economics. And, I'm proud to say and happy to say that, I mean, your franchise officially launched maybe a month or two ago or three, and you've already sold three franchises to really good people.
Yeah, we're really excited. We had a great response to, our first social media announcement about the franchise opportunity. Again, we had some really strong leads before we even started franchising. We definitely like to pay attention to what our customers are asking for, whether it be with flavor development or even business opportunities. One of the reasons I opened our first brick and mortar was because we only had a website at that point, and people were like knocking down our production facility looking for the ice cream store, they had seen online. So we really try to listen to our customers and figure out, what people are looking for and, how we can provide that.
Melissa, it was interesting. Before we got started now, we were talking a little, and we're talking about the business, and you'd mentioned started in 2014. But what I loved in the conversation, you're like, Charles, but I came up with the name in 2012, and this is in my family lineage. So let's talk about like what brought about Tipsy Scoop. How did you found the company?
Yeah, so ice cream making runs in my family from back in the 1800s. My ancestors brought over gelato from Italy to Scotland when gelato was a very novel concept at the time. So I was always fascinated by that family tradition and history of ice cream making, always interested in perfecting my own ice cream recipe. And I don't know if you've tried to make ice cream at home at all, but it is very challenging in a tabletop Cuisinart machine. It comes out very icy on the side. So I started adding just like a tablespoon of alcohol to soften my ice cream so that I was happier with the consistency. At the same point in time, I was working on marketing and events for different liquor brands. So I was, very fascinated by different flavors of bourbon, rye whiskey, all of that. So I think one of my first flavors was vanilla bean bourbon, very simple, clean flavor. And I loved how the taste of the bourbon really came through in that ice cream.
So you opened up your first location when?
In 2017.
So what
So
were you nervous? Like, how did that feel when you were opening up?
yeah, so it's a funny story. We were, and this is a big part of the franchise opportunity too, is Tipsy Scoop catering with our ice cream push carts. But for the first few years, all I was doing was catering and events and online orders. Again, it's an occasion-based product, so that's a huge part of the business to date. And I was really happy with that. Everything was made to order. It wasn't, a super huge investment in terms of, startup costs for opening a location. It was easy to do part-time. So we had in 2016 a video on Facebook go viral about Tipsy Scoop. So Insider Food came in and did videos of us pouring the alcohol into the machine, the ice cream coming out in these beautiful ribbons of boozy ice cream. And I think that got like 10 million views in 2 days. So people were coming to our production facility, calling my cell phone, looking for the boozy ice cream shop that they saw online. And they would come to a very uninviting warehouse in East Harlem, knocking on the door, and kind of actually loved the experience of, it kind of being underground and secret. But just buying pints from us right there. And that really didn't stop. We kind of had more videos come out, and the demand was really there to open a shop. So that is the reason why we decided to open a shop. Otherwise, we probably wouldn't have opened for a while.
So we have 3 locations. You've sold 3 franchises.
Yep.
How do you feel when you reflect back and think about how you started to where you are today?
Yeah, I mean, I think if I knew where I would end up, maybe I wouldn't have even done it. But again, we started very slow. I started just by myself with that ice cream push cart, wheeling it all over New York City. And starting slow like that made it a lot less intimidating as well. Again, 10 years ago, I didn't know what I'm doing. I like to think I kind of know what I'm doing now, but definitely still learning on the way. It's super exciting because, again, like boozy ice cream, liquor infused food is a very new category. So there's a huge opportunity with franchising and just growing the brand in general to be that, boozy ice cream kind of household name. And I think that's really cool.
The there's very few brands, and I think that make that transition from local business or local product to really a brand that's just magnetized. It's driven by social media. There's a cult following. I mean, what's some advice you have, if any, for other entrepreneurs out there building their brand and building their business?
Yeah, I mean, I think social media is a great way to spread awareness about your brand without a large investment. Um, that being said, it is a time investment. So, like, putting out content every day is going to take time and dedication, and persistence, like anything. But I think, again, talking about listening to customers, like, what do your customers ask you for? And social media being like a great platform to be able to communicate with customers, like one on one. So I would say, like, listening to customers is huge. Being very persistent about growing that social media following, because that's like very grassroots, and just like very sort of basic marketing tactics, like going to your neighbors and telling them, about your company.
Yeah, and I think the persistence is so critical, right? About social media. I think a
Yeah.
lot of businesses, a lot of brands, they dabble in it, but they're not persistent. And that's where sort of the magic happens. But of course, you need a great brand and you need a great product also. Melissa, you've now, I mean, it's amazing what you've created. You approach franchising. What, for everyone who's watching this, successful business owners, maybe they're thinking about franchising. What did that journey look like for you? Like the pros, the cons, things that kept you up at night, things that worked well. What could you share about franchising?
Yeah, I mean, again, like the opportunity was kind of like knocking at our door, and it like wasn't, those inquiries were not stopping, and they were, themselves very persistent. So I kind of knew, like, in my gut, that we needed to do something about it to be able to, um, you know grow to that next step and take that leap. I think, I always think back to when I started and it was just me. And I think it's very common for entrepreneurs, especially in the beginning, to think you can do everything yourself. So, in the beginning, I was delivering the ice cream, I was making the invoices, I was making the ice cream. I'm like, yeah, I can manage all of this. And I think that that's just really important. As I've grown along the way, I realized I can't do everything myself. And I think the same holds true for whether it be our company owned stores and, finding managers who can be able to run those stores, you know, basically on their own with our guidance. Same thing with franchising. I think it's just like a great way to grow the brand, and to be able to like utilize, my guidance without, doing everything on your own. So I think that's important.
Yeah, the scalability is so critical.
Yes.
Um, you now have experience as a franchisor. We closed 3 franchise sales. What do you think creates for Tipsy Scoop a great fit where franchisees, or what you think down the line, franchisees that'll be aligned and a great fit for the brand, and hopefully to transform their own lives?
Yeah, definitely. I think that, we are a new franchise. We are a relatively new company. Our first franchisees that are starting with us now definitely share in that entrepreneurial spirit and mindset. Just even since signing the 3, that we've signed, we're going back and forth on text. Like, it's very like collaborative and exciting to find people who are so passionate about the brand. I mean, one of our franchisees even is moving to be able to open in the location that they want to open in. So, it's a huge, like, life-changing opportunity. And it's so, like, even emotional just to like see people, investing in that change and like really believing in the brand in a way that's like different from, any other way we've seen before. So
How does it make you feel when you think about where you're at? I mean, this is the beginning, but where you're at in this journey.
yeah, I mean, again, I'm really excited. I think with, our first 3 that have signed, and even the people that we're talking to who, will hopefully sign up soon, all of the locations are just so great. Like, these are, cities that I would want to open a Tipsy Scoop in myself. And, can't because I don't live there. So I think it's really, really cool to be able to, grow in that way. Whereas, again, can't do everything yourself. So, like, these are some amazing people that we're talking to that, are so well qualified, probably even more so than me sometimes, to be able to really grow the brand and welcome it into their community, which, they know everybody there already.
The like it's stuck in my head, right? I'm thinking about, I don't know who it was in your family, what ancestors, like who in your family was heavily in, like, have you done the research and like who started this in your family decades ago?
Yeah, so my great great grandfather was actually president of the Ice Cream Alliance in Great Britain, which I didn't even know was a thing. I'm like, is
Right.
there something like that in the US? I'm not sure. But yeah, that was really cool. My mom and I are really into genealogy. So we were able to find some really cool pictures of, like, different ice cream push carts that they had as well. So that was really fun.
So that was your great great grandfather?
Yes. Yep.
I mean, think about how amazing that is and how beautiful it is that you're talking about him. Like, and just
Yeah.
life is so, it's just amazing. But like, could you imagine if you were speaking to him, like what he would think about this?
I know, it's funny. And, just in general, and, even the people that we're talking to who have just signed up franchises, like, everything is such a family business. The way that we're talking to people, like, I have gotten so much help from my family and friends with Tipsy Scoop. My parents have been super involved. My great grandparents, they really some of our first customers. A lot of the franchisees we're talking to too are either opening a brother and a sister, or a mother and daughter, or a husband and wife. So I think it's really great, like that sense of community.
You know, and Melissa, it really is where the power is, because you think
Yeah.
about it now, like Tipsy Scoop's going to impact, hopefully in the most positive, amazing way, another generation. Your franchisee partners, their children,
Yeah.
and as the brand grows. I mean, so it's a pretty remarkable achievement. And the good news is you just got started. I mean, it's just a matter of months. And so I think for prospective franchisors out there, right? If I were building a checklist outside looking in, amazing brand, amazing founder. I mean, you dove head into this. I mean, recently you were at one of the franchise expos and yeah, heavily involved. And also, I think an important element when there's a checklist of, hey, are we ready to franchise and what we're leveraging? You built all these brand assets and relationships that now when you say you're franchising, you're getting instant interest in your brand. So, I mean, it's just a remarkable start out of the gate.
Thank you. Thanks.
So, I guess this is the start of the journey. I'm looking forward to more conversations, Melissa, and I really appreciate the time this afternoon.
Yeah, thank you.